Hey, Sat, thanks for doing this. When you guys are lining up on offense, is there one person who makes the audible call on the field, a center, quarterback, who?
They both have the capability to do it. We have a certain player that, without giving much away there, we have one of the two has priority. The other one can override if needed.
Shane mentioned yesterday that there were some miscommunication issues at Georgia, maybe because the crowd had something to do with that. But do you think that system might play into that, or is maybe the playbook a little too schematically
I
dense?
think it was. I think it was game three of a new system playing. Playing with us, new coaches, new players, playing different combinations. I think it was all just one of those things that we had to go through. We didn't want to go through it. We didn't expect to go through it, but there was some issues in our communication that we're working to clean up this week. But
Marcus, in terms of Luke, I mean, I know obviously he wasn't full go for the last few weeks and hadn't played in the game until he kind of got thrust into it. Just in terms of getting him back and fully going, I mean, is there anything you do to get him in a rhythm? Is it a matter of scripting some easier throws? Is it, a matter of just him going out there and playing and sort of figuring it out? I mean, how do you go about sort of getting him in a groove? And is it that's something that you can script, or it just kind of has to happen?
yeah, I mean, you try to script some routine throws where he can get off and get some confidence. If you would have told me Saturday night that he would have played period or had that many plays, I'd have looked at you funny. But I mean, it was an amazing feat that he went out there and did what he did. And I think he probably had 8 to 11 plays in the last month versus scout team, nothing like an 11-11. So to go out there in that environment against that defense, and we weren't perfect executing, but I mean, he did some really good things for a guy that's not played a lot of quarterback.
And how was Luke today at practice? How did he look?
He's good. He's just I think mentally he's getting more confidence. I think the more that he can do in 11-on-11 and things like that, I think he gets confidence in the foot. He's moving. He's still not 100%, but he's moving around a lot better.
And has Zeb still got the bandage on his hand, or where's he at sort of with all that?
He's still. I mean, it's going to be taped up for a while, I'm sure. But he was out there throwing the ball around today and looked good and made some really good throws. So again, I'm sure y'all love hearing this, but just going through the week and seeing how, at the end of the week how both of them are feeling, and at the end of the week we'll know which direction we're going. But both of them are progressing. Zeb was out there throwing for the first time today, so he looked good.
What's that? Just with the offensive line personnel, you guys starting to look at new guys to come in, or is it just they've just been struggling, they got to work through it?
I mean, again, sound like a broken record, but it is all about the competition, and no one has earned the right to just go out there and it be their job at any position. So, if you're struggling at times, there's going to be a backup that goes in there and have a chance to show what they can do. But, there's one or two spots up front that guys have played a while that have solidified themselves, but the rest of those guys, they've got to practice well every day. They got to perform when they get in the game, because if you're struggling up front, it's going to show. It's going to be glaringly showing on Saturdays, and it showed its head a couple times on Saturday. But again, we got what we are who we are, and we're going to go out there and we're going to compete. And whoever those 5 guys are, they're going to do the best they can.
So if Luke is the starter against Kentucky, just how much of the playbook will be not open is probably the wrong word to use there, but how much more will you be able to do with him out there just because he's been in this playbook and been part of it longer than maybe Zeb has?
I mean, the same amount. It really won't change that much. It's just with Luke, he's just such a more of a mobile type kid that he can do some things that Zeb can't do. We were giving Zeb a hard time. We designed a zone read for him the first play against Georgia just to kind of show that we would, and it opened up, and we're like, yes, and it was second and 9, but he had he was running his rear end off, and but Luke can do some certain things that Zeb can't do from a running standpoint.
I guess with the communication, is that something that just has to happen naturally over the course of more reps and more time together, or is that something you can? What are some things that you're doing to help try to clean that up this week going into Kentucky?
Just emphasizing it. I mean, we're never going to be a reactionary. That was one of our pet peeves. Is when coaches lose a game and then they come back and they're, we're starting today doing this and we're going to do this different. Like, we're not doing anything really different. We're cleaning up some stuff. We still have our system we believe in, and we know it's a great system. So we're just holding people accountable at practice. We're putting, not more emphasis, but we're really, 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 really making sure that the communication is clear and everybody's on the same page. And thus far, the first 2 days of practice, you can really see a difference.
The big play nature of the offense that you have shown through the first 3 games, is that something of a characteristic that you're seeing develop with this team?
Yeah, I said it from day one. You know, everybody gave our wideouts a hard time. But it's hard to say the guy's not very good if he never had an opportunity to go make a play. So we wanted to put the ball up and give those guys a chance to make plays early on in the season, see what they can do. And a couple of those guys are going up and getting the ball and showing that they are playmakers, which is good because, you know, it's hard to go an 8-play drive in this league. It's really, really hard. So you've got to be able to create explosive plays. And with those guys playing at the level that they are right now, that's given us an extra benefit for sure.
Marcus, I know you guys have talked about in the past with the running back position being able to go with a hot hand. How do you guys manage that? Because I know with some of these guys, they're not used to necessarily just getting their number called and going out there. They're trying to get into some type of rhythm. So how do you guys kind of work with that?
That's a point of emphasis this week is just, you know, we've got to make sure that the guy that's practicing well is getting the majority of the reps, and that's our running back. And we have our guy that can go in and be the change up and can get reps himself. Like, we can't play with all 4 consistently. It's the ones that are working and put themselves in position to play in the game, and then the rest of them will have roles within the game. But we've got to get those guys in there, get the guy in there and let him get established and let him get a feel for the game and let him get rolling. We can't just go 4 plays here, 3 plays here, 4 plays here, 3 plays here, and that's 1,000,000% on me. And that's a huge emphasis moving forward. It's just, you know, like with Juju, like every play Juju went in the other day, we were trying, like 2 or 3 of them were trying to get the ball to him. Georgia did something that made the ball go away from him. You look up, Juju has no touches. That's a complete failure on my part. It's driving me nuts right now. And so that's never going to happen again. But we've got to make sure that we're getting our guys in there and letting them get in a rhythm. Because at running back, that position, you can't go run 4 plays, come out, go back in for 2 plays, come out. Like, we got to get the guy in there that's playing the best and let him go.
With the communication issues, is that something that kind of just cropped up in these games, or was that something y'all were a little bit worried about coming into the season? And also along those lines, how difficult is that to kind of clean up over the course of a week?
As long as you have a system in place, it's not hard to clean up at all. It's just a matter of, did it just pop up? I would say I'm human. I'm like many coaches. I get distracted with plays and get distracted with stuff that are important, but maybe not as important as the minute details of communication. And I probably let some things slide here and there, and it didn't really get us the first or second game like most things do. And then when it was really, really, really in the heat of battle, it popped us a couple times. And so as a coach, I've got to go back now and kind of look myself in the mirror to make sure that we're practicing the right things within our system to make sure the communication is executed. And that's what we've really focused on this week, is just execution, communication, making sure everybody's on the same page.
There were a handful of plays the other night where you guys would hurry up with some tempo on 3rd down plays. Is that something that people are doing more of just across football in general? And how can you kind of use that change of tempo to your advantage just long term, I guess?
Yeah, I think you see that around the league. You see it a lot in the NFL. You're going to see it with Kentucky. Kentucky does a really good job. They call them huddle breaks. And so the Rams do it. Like, they'll come out random 2nd and long situations and some 3rd down situations, and they'll break a huddle, go up, and as soon as they touch the ball, they'll snap it. Or they'll break a huddle, go up, they'll freeze count it, try to get you off sides. So they'll do all those different things. You'll see that on Saturday night. We're going to just start, anytime you can snap a ball fast, random parts of the game, and catch people off guard, it's an advantage for you. Those guys aren't ready. They're not set up. They're not hunkered down the ground. They don't have the complete play call yet. So it allowed us to kind of catch them off guard a couple times. And, both times were conversions and explosive plays. So that was good to us the other night.
Marcus, when you look back over the past 3 weeks, there's been a couple plays where, guys are coming free, guys are blocking the wrong guy or not blocking anybody at all. Is that all communication? Is that scheme? Is that on the players? Where does the blame lie?
I think communication is a word. It seems like it's a theme in here right now, but it's a call is made. You have to have the courage to execute that technique of that call in order to be successful for that play. As you know, young guys that haven't played a ton of football, I mean, we would love to say, hey, you made this call. and you're supposed to do, and everybody does their job, then you should be pretty good. But that's part of growing and part of developing our organization, our offense. Everything is just going through some of these growing pains where the right call was made and we just didn't execute the block on the right human being. And so that's just, I think, guys learning at all positions just to be able to trust their technique. Because it's one thing to take a test and you say, hey, quarterback, where do you throw the ball on, versus this lick? And they've got a piece of paper and they're listening to their music and they answer the question right. And then you go out there in the middle of a game and that question is asked to you with about 2 seconds to make a decision, and the ball snapped, and then there's people flying around everywhere. It takes a while to gain the confidence and have the experience to execute what you're supposed to do. So long-winded response there, but I think in time, if we do what we're supposed to do as coaches and continue to develop these guys, I think we'll be fine.
Marcus, what have you seen from Kentucky defensively, and how much of a challenge is it going to be on that offensive line with their pass rush and their interior linemen?
Huge challenge. I mean, the thing about Kentucky's defense, I think they have 8 seniors or grad seniors, like super seniors, whatever we call them, guys that have played a lot of football and really respect their staff and how they go about their development and the discipline and the toughness that they play with. I really respect those guys. They're going to be a huge issue, but I mean, they got a nose guard that's 374 pounds. It's not slow. Like, he's twitched up. He gets his hands on you. I mean, he's going to be hard to deal with inside. 2 different rush ends that are completely different body types that pose all kinds of issues for us. They got the transfer linebacker from Ole Miss that's playing really well right now. They're very disruptive in the backfield, which is what we're trying to combat against to try to establish a run game. So they're going to be a very, very, very difficult defense for us to. They're already difficult to prepare for, but to go out there and, like we've been talking about this whole time, execute, because they're going to be in different gaps. They play different fronts out of a 3-down personnel, so it's going to be a challenge, super challenge.
I guess you guys have a lot of recruits. It's a big recruiting weekend for y'all. How excited are you for it to have a night game and this group of guys here for an SEC game?
It's going to be huge, and I think it's just huge for a staff like ours. It's season 1, and obviously we want to continue to get better and better and better and better on the field. But I think it's one thing to watch a team play on TV and then come to a game and feel the energy of Coach Beamer, feel the energy of our staff, feel the positivity within our organization amongst our players. When you get within a group of Gamecocks in our football organization, our football family, it feels totally different than a lot of different places that we're recruiting against. So to get the caliber of guys that are coming in this weekend around us is huge for us.
Marcus, it's been 3 straight weeks where we've seen Josh make some big plays. I guess just when you look at his progression from spring when you all got here to now and what he's been able to do. I mean, I know we've heard a lot about that this is a group that maybe can do some things. Just what is it that's different about him from maybe day one to now? And why has he maybe been able to have the success that he has?
I think just the belief and confidence in himself. I think he struggled. I don't think he really realized I think somewhere down deep inside he knew he was a good player, but I think he just listened to so many people say you're not a good player or you can't do this and put self-limitations on what his ability was. I think once, the newness arrived around here and he saw hope and we put him in positions to go make plays and have opportunity to make plays, I think he just keeps getting better and better and more confident with his ability and his ability to compete at this level and make plays at this level.
I think he said after the game the other day that, we kind of found his love for football again. I mean, is that just generally like what you guys are trying to do with this program, this team? And I guess
these guys have been through so much, like any kid their age, whether they're football players or not, just this past year, I mean, just emotionally to go through, the pandemic. And then, you sign with a coaching staff that you lose touch with those guys because, changing of the helm here. You didn't win a bunch of games. You've had a bunch of different position coaches. You've had a bunch of different coordinators. You have people throwing stuff at you here and there, like believe in this, believe in me, I believe in you. And at times it just takes a toll on you. And I think just for us, we're just trying to show up and be consistent and be here for these guys and hopefully stay here for a long time. And I think that's paying dividends for guys like Josh, just the consistency of knowing someone cares about him and the consistency of knowing that he can make plays, and we're going to give him the chance to do so.
Yeah, Kevin obviously missed a ton of time, and Marshawn missed a ton of time with their injuries. Where do you feel like they are in just kind of finding their footing on the field and getting their sea legs beneath them, so to speak, just in terms of becoming the kind of playmaker that they can be?
I think Marshawn in the last 2 weeks has had some really good carries, some good runs. I think Kevin's a little bit different because he got to actually play college football last year, and Marshawn, this is his first action ever, and especially doing it in this league of college football. I think Marshawn, you saw him as the game went on the other night, he got stronger. And some of those runs, at the end of the runs, those safeties were coming downhill, and he didn't slow down, he didn't flinch, and there was some grown-up collisions taking place. I think that he's getting his legs underneath him. I also think Marshawn we just have to keep giving him opportunities to show what he can do. He flashed a couple times the other night. I mean, he's such a slasher. He's doing a nice job in pass protection. He's only going to get better. I just think Kevin's probably, just from a mental standpoint right now, because he's played in these games, he's going to maybe move a little bit faster.